Greetings, fellow Earthlings and viewers across the World Wide Web. This is Tune 215, and right now we're in the state of Pennsylvania. We're currently in the city of Philadelphia. Today, we're going to be taking a short drive through Kensington Avenue. I was actually on my way to the local Walmart on Aramingo and Wishief Lane, which is not far from here. And I haven't documented a nighttime tour in this area in quite some time. So since it's nightfall, I figured I'd take a little drive through here and document what I see. I'm traveling about 18 miles an hour under Kensington Avenue, heading northbound. We're on the 2700 block of Kensington Avenue, here in the Kensington neighborhood. We're at Kensington and Somerset. On our left-hand side, if you see the face that's painted on the wall, you see it? Well, where that yellow awning and all that's at, they shot one of the later Rocky movies right there. One of the scenes. On my right, we have a Quickie Mart. On our left-hand side, we have a new building still under construction. There's a lot of foot traffic out, a lot of people out here. The weather was pretty nice today. It was around 58 degrees, so it was pretty nice. We just passed Hart. We have a crowd on my right-hand side that's been there for a couple weeks now. I passed through here on several occasions and I've seen that crowd. On our left, we have a police officer standing outside of his unit, standing right in front of his unit, making his presence known. We're passing Monmouth. We're traveling 16 miles an hour. I do have traffic behind me, so it's only a matter of time before people beep. We're capturing footage in 4K Ultra HD, so make sure to adjust your video settings in your YouTube browser. We're going to slow down right here on Orleans Street. On our right-hand side, we have the 1800 block of East Orleans. We have the 24-hour quick stop. We got a nice dirt bike right there in front of us. He was chilling. That was a nice bike. Yeah, that thing was nice. What's that, 250? Yeah, it looked good. It's a Honda CRF 250, I believe. That was a CRF 250R. 4-stroke, you could hear it. Nice bike. That bike right there is about 6-7 grand, give or take, depending on the year. If it's brand new, if it's a 2022 model, you're talking about 9-10 grand. We have McPherson Square on our left-hand side. It's Cops Park right next to McPherson Square. As you can see, a lot of these businesses now have LED lights. It wasn't always like that in the past, but they have LED lights. There's a lot of random variety shops popping up too, like with a bunch of random nonsense. Look, there's a fire on my left-hand side. You see that fire? So I'll tell you something funny. People tend to report those fires. Look at the police officer is about to drive by the fire. People tend to report those fires a lot, and on Citizens app, you'll see that it says fire reported under Kensington Ave, and you'll see the whole strip. The whole strip that gets reported is this strip right here. So I find that quite amusing because it's like they're reporting obviously fires that are meant to keep people warm. Don't waste your time reporting a fire and then the fire truck comes out and waste their energy and resources just to see that it's a fire meant to keep someone warm. They pulled somebody over here on my left. There's cops parked up. Passing Clearfield. So far, I've been traveling super slow and no one has beeped behind me yet. There are cars behind me, but everyone's been pretty patient, which is rare. You got your typical groups of young folks hanging out here. I've been noticing a lot of young folks over here politicking in this group on my left. Young folks, like ones that look like they're not under any substances, but they're in the mix of the group. This little convenience store on my right looks like they reopened it up, and there's a lot of folks out there. A lot of folks hanging out. The Esperanza Health Center on my left-hand side. A bunch of people sleeping on the front of the Esperanza Health Center, and there's cops out there too. Okay, we got a green light. We got a gentleman in front of us walking on his red on our green. He didn't even bother looking right. but to each his own. Again, we have another fire right here on my right hand side. I'm gonna pull over because the car behind me is about to go through me. I guess their patience is running short. And check out this fire on my right hand side. They got a really good fire, a really nice one. It might be hazardous, to be honest. If it catches onto the plastic, check that out. My boy's a professional fire starter. He's a professional fire starter. That's not really funny, but only you can prevent forest fires. We're passing Madison Street. So it's going to begin to trickle down here. You'll still see some activity, but the majority of the activity was behind us. We're passing Willard. We're next to J&J Restaurant here at Westmoreland, Kensington Ave and Westmoreland. Normally, I'm not a big fan of documenting nighttime footage because the camera I was using didn't pick up low light too well. This is a different unit that I'm using, and the only way to find out is through trial and error. So if it looks grainy, I do apologize. We're passing Cornwall on our left-hand side. You got all those lit up convenience stores. King Kensington convenience store. That's crazy, right? And then there's a rest in peace memorial right outside of it. One thing that I've learned through experience, I know a lot of suburbs don't have bars or things like that, convenience stores and stuff that are open 24 hours because it brings a whole different demographic, a whole different crowd, especially bars. You ever notice you go to the hood, you see plenty of bars open, but then you go to the suburbs, you rarely see any bars near residential zones. That's because they don't want that riffraff in their neighborhood. And at times, 1, 2, 3 in the morning here in Philly, we're passing Schiller. We had a female out there. She was catching full-on eye contact, meaning she was probably a woman for hire, female for hire. We're next to Harrogate Park on my right-hand side. We're entering the Harrogate neighborhood. But yeah, I've learned that through experience because if you think about a lot of the hoods here in Philly, a lot of the most crime-filled neighborhoods have bars everywhere. A lot of the neighborhoods without bars rarely have crime. I'm not saying the ones without bars are crime-free. Keyword, rarely. But the ones with bars, they're usually like the high crime, the arguments, the fights. Yeah, and I can speak from my neighborhood, from my experience, like always, like 1:30, 2 in the morning, there was always some type of rowdiness. And when's 1:30, 2 in the morning? We're passing Tioga. When the bar gets out, like, you know, when the bar lets out, normally it's around like 2, 3 a.m. It's when the bars start closing. All right, we're passing Atlantic. Now this next block coming up is usually where there are other women for hire. They come out different times of the day, different days of the week, different seasons of the year. You don't normally see regulars out here. On my right-hand side, this little block on my right before this underpass, there's usually a lot of female foot traffic around here, but as of now, there's nobody out. So right now we're approaching Erie, Torresdale. On our left-hand side, we will have the Juniata neighborhood. Juniata. Not far from here, probably 2 blocks to our left-hand side is where the famous Philadelphia boxer Danny Garcia grew up at. Mr. Danny Garcia not only grew up on our left-hand side, he owns a business about 2 to 3 blocks on our right-hand side. I had to speed it up a little bit. This traffic behind me is pressing me forward. So, an interesting fact, I mentioned this a handful of times, but right here on Castor, you see that pole on my right-hand side with the yellow sign up top that says 13 feet 1 inch? I got into an accident right here before. I was in the back seat of one of my buddy's cars. I was in the middle, and I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. And he was operating an Infiniti. He was driving this way, northbound. A car came from our left, kind of swerved. They basically ate their light. He had green. They ate their light, swerved into him. He tried to swerve out of the way and crashed right into that pole. I damn near went through the windshield. Luckily, my shin bone stopped me from going through, and I ended up having to get sent to the ER. They took me off in a stretcher. I had like I would probably estimate like a 2.5 inch split in my shin, my right shin bone, and I needed stitches. Yeah, it sucked. Like you could see like the flesh open, and you can see like my white. Oh man, it wasn't a pretty sight. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm going to make this right-hand turn. I'm already well past my trip to Walmart. I could have turned off earlier to go to Walmart, but I took the scenic view, I guess you can say. All right, right now we're at Jasper and Pike. Jasper and Pike. I'm gonna continue moving forward. We're gonna make a right-hand turn. We'll make a right-hand turn on Frankfurt. So I'm gonna take y'all on the ride with me to Walmart. Walmart! Pull up the Walmart with y'all. Yeah, so I was generally just gonna go to Walmart and just like a light bulb clicked. That's stuff I see every day. I just don't choose to document it daily. I could document it daily 7 to 15 times a day. I could create a career under that avenue, but I choose not to. If you guys think these nighttime videos were clear, let me know. Let me know if this was clear. Let me know if you like this experience. I could potentially throw a couple more nighttime videos in. Another thing about Kensington Ave that works for nighttime is that there's a lot of activity, meaning a lot of foot traffic. You see a lot of ambience. You see a lot of people. As you can see, there was fires and stuff. You go to some of these other neighborhoods like this, for example, at night, you guys aren't really going to see much. You're not really going to see many people. I mean, there's a few other neighborhoods in Philly that be popping at night, like Hunting Park, Fairhill, Glenwood. There's a couple neighborhoods that you can still go by at night and still see people outside. But that avenue was the perfect place to test it because there was also light provided by the street lights. I'm gonna make this left on Butler. If we go straight 1 block, we'll be in the Harrogate neighborhood. This right here, Butler, is actually the borderline before you leave Harrogate. Now this block coming up, I really dislike. There's a lot of potholes. I'm talking about craters beyond belief. Matter of fact, there's cars behind me that's gonna rush me, and they're in huge SUVs. I'm gonna let everybody go by. Let everybody go by. Yo, I shot a scene here before for a music video. It's on my channel. I shot a scene here for a music video where the scene we used prop blood and we tossed the music artist outside of the car right here on my left-hand side, and like the scene was him all bloody on the side of the road. Tell me why when I was shooting that scene, people right here, this road, they was stopping, they was calling like the police, they was telling us, what are we doing to him and everything? Cause I was recording. They said, stop recording him, help him. But he was the music artist and it was part of the script. Priceless. Ouch. Ouch. You see, look, bad road. Man, they're fixing all these other roads in Philly. This road needs to be fixed. This is unacceptable. Oh my gosh. Listen, you probably can't even hear it. And then I love it how gigantic vehicles come through here and they're like, yeah, just move out of the way, bud. Move it or lose it. All right, we're on Butler and Sepviva. Viva, like viva la raza. Oh my gosh, people are still beeping. Just because you don't care about your vehicle don't mean that I shouldn't care about my vehicle. Some people don't care about their vehicle. Some people see them bumps and go faster. They go like 60 miles an hour, believing that going faster would help them. Nah, I try to take my time. I try to avoid potholes. So this was a race spot back in the day. If anybody knows, you know. If you know, you know. This was a spot where right here in the Sonics, back in the day, within the last 5 to 10 years, the Sonic closed down, unfortunately. That was like one of our first Sonics in the area. The Sonic closed down. But right here, at night in the after hours, you would come here on Friday, Saturday, and sometimes like on a Sunday, And you have all these tuner cars here, car systems, people racing, people just hanging out, drinking. This was one of the hangout spots. But to my knowledge, they don't come here and hang out anymore. There was another spot too around the corner near the parking authority lot that they would race to, like 5 minutes from here. And they would just go back and forth from like Aramingo Avenue and all that to South Philly. You know how like in the movie Fast and the Furious, they would show every time the cops come, they would relocate. Well, it was really like that here in Philly. Like I remember being a kid, being with my pop, and we would go like hang out or whatever. And we would have to relocate from one spot to the next because the cops would come, then you got to move to the next and blah, 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 blah. So this Walmart right here, it's a relatively new Walmart too. It's a relatively new addition to the city. It was built within the last, 10 to 15 years, probably less than that. I'm over exaggerating. It's really tiny, really small. And when you come here, you see everybody from the hood, everybody. Every time I come here, it's guaranteed I see 3 to 5 people that are familiar faces. All the people from the hood come here, bro. Seriously. All the people from the hood come here.